Welcome to the Driving Talk podcast. We're trackside once again here at Brands Hatch on the Mini Challenge Trophy finale weekend. I've grabbed three drivers, three very good looking drivers. We've got Alex Solley, we've got Alex Keynes,
and Rob Lewis,
James Black. I'm just a gimp that races a Ford, don't worry about me. But you guys have had a pretty good day today. Some nice trophies there on the table. You're going for championships as well. You're going for wins, you're going for different classes, you're going for all sorts basically.
Something like
that. Yeah.
Trying to at least.
How's the year and how's the season kind of gone for you guys? Because I'm looking at three different drivers that are from different walks of life, different budgets, different ways to go racing. I like Alex, you to me are the ultimate club racer. I love that. In what you do, going and getting the parts from Silver Lake and just going racing. Alex, you've been in the Mini Challenge for absolutely like 3 or 4 years.
I'm a veteran, however I don't like to say it.
You are an old person in the series. And James, you're the good looking cousin.
Someone has to be, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Well, the cousin are good looking.
Well, both really. Yeah, exactly. I think we're all completely different. Say, I do a lot of the coaching stuff. Alex does a lot of the mechanic and stuff. And Keynes, what do you do?
I'm a uni student.
He's a uni student. So three very different walks of life. But like we say, we're still all getting wins. We're all getting podiums and stuff. And there's no one size fits all with motorsport, which is what's cool. So yeah, we've had a good day today. As obviously even better now we join with you, the greats of the modified Ford community. Who is Tom Upton anyway?
Straight in with a Tom Ovenden gig. Although to be fair, so when we raced here about a month or so ago, Tom Ovenden nearly had the mother of all shunts trying to avoid an Escort Cosworth that was on fire.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'll show you some onboard from that.
It's a work of Fords, isn't it?
Okay, come on, man. That cuts deep. Whoa! I mean, you got a point, but still. But Lydia Walmsley's joined us. Is that still recording, by the way?
She's running very quickly.
No? It's zoomed in on the frame. Yeah, don't worry about it. Right. That was Lydia Walmsley, ladies and gentlemen.
Cinematography genius.
Cinematography genius. Mini Challenge racer, hardcore racer, badass, and hopefully out in a Porsche next year.
Also, our mum on these weekends.
Yes.
She likes to babysit us.
Yeah. She is the racing mum.
Yeah.
She's the racing mum for us. Yeah. So she does an awesome job.
We haven't found the dad.
But what's so I don't know how, but in all seriousness, having someone like Lydia here in your corner, how does that work for you guys on a race weekend?
I mean, she's experienced in Coopers as well, so we've got all that, the older gen sort of footage and data, etc. But obviously she's been in other disciplines, hasn't she? So she's made her way around the paddock. Does help, yeah, it's good.
It's the second pair of eyes on it, and say it's when you got the likes of Sam and Dave as well with all their experience of racing at MSV level, and obviously Dave winning all the PBMW stuff. You've got a lot of wealth and experience in this team, and I think some teams aren't fortunate to have that, and I think that's where we have a bit of an edge. And like having Lydia to support us all year has been mega.
And I'll ask the question that everyone asks in an interview, but it's quite interesting because it's obviously going to be touring cars that gets most people into racing. Is that the same for you three? Was it touring cars that made you want to go racing, or something different?
Touring cars?
Well, I started on karts, and then from karting this was sort of an obvious sort of step up. So it wasn't necessarily touring cars, but just the love of racing really got me here.
I never really had a launch into it as such. I just sort of got lobbed in the deep end. Randomly went on a karting day out with my sister and found a knack for something, and then along the lines you end up buying a car which doesn't end very well with the mum. And then
what car was it? What that was the Mini, or?
No, Saxo started out in.
Oh, okay. Well, no wonder. She probably thought you were down McDonald's with the old trays under the back.
Once we explained it is safer than karting, she was alright with that, but we didn't let her know the price. Until the first round, when she had to go buy a fire extinguisher for us. That was a bad start.
Oh no.
Anyway, then we end up here. I didn't really have anything to watch growing up. I was never really a motorsport family. So
really?
Yeah. Well, my dad did He did enduro sidecars.
Okay.
So it's really a completely different.
I was going to
discipline.
say that is a completely different walk of life.
Yeah. So obviously I was heavily involved with that from a young age.
So
but
hang on. He
there's
did
no-
endurance sidecars. Was he the driver or the crazy person hanging off it?
I think he used to be the crazy person until he got scared. Then he became the driver. A very good driver at that. So yeah.
Oh, fair play. I mean, is touring cars obviously the level you guys are aiming for? Or is it GTs? Anything? Or is it just a case of you're here to enjoy the ride?
I'm not picky. Anything will do, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets
Touring cars always
heard-
been the dream.
I've heard.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
I followed touring cars for 10,
Mm.
12 years now. I live and breathe it. So it's just to be on the package to be get the mini challenge the last 2 years and to get the win at Silverstone last time out was just really special. Because you always dream of it. It's unfortunately becoming quite unachievable to the everyday working person, but that's the way motorsport's going. So future, who knows what's going to come next, but I think whatever it'll be exciting.
Yeah. We'll talk about the future actually. There was some news that came out this week. It'd be good to get, because you guys are the next generation, part of the next generation drivers coming through. But you would have seen it out in the news this week. The switch from hybrid to sustainable fuels.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
I
All
think it's
right,
a good thing.
roll with it, Alex. Why?
I think they tried to do the hybrid thing to be environmentally friendly, and
Yes.
I get the route they go in, but it takes away the racing aspect in places. It's the true bred touring cars which everyone knows and loves now. Well,
Yeah.
it should be going back towards that.
I think the hybrid was good, but they just gave it more power rather than actually saving the planet, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think we're running on a sustainable fuel. Carrera Cup have done the same this year, so it's good that's becoming more mainstream as such, and even to what we're effectively club racing. So I'm not sure what it's like with the Modified 4 stuff, but it's almost like the shift of the electric almost age is starting to phase out, and then this sustainable fuel is sort of our nearest sort of future.
Well, I think this week Motorsport UK brought out some sort of document or something that they want to work towards, which is getting all kinds of racing in the UK running on a sustainable fuel by 2030. That's not a bad. I mean, they've got 5 years to do it now.
Yeah.
And if they're already working on doing it at this level and TOCA level, that potentially, I wouldn't mind buying. I mean, I've had the conversations with different engine tuners, and as far as I'm aware, a little tweak in the ignition timing to run with those particular fuels, and you're okay. And obviously, just flush your fuel system. I mean, Alex. I'm going to say this from, I used to work at Silver Lake, and I'll say it from that side. You come down and take their panels, you're already being fairly environmentally conscious just by trying to save yourself a few quid, because you're using second-hand parts. So the kind of carbon offset of that is good for you to approach sponsors.
Yeah, well, I haven't thought about it in that way, to be fair, but just getting cheap parts that they work, they're good, just really helps. Just
How long does a bonnet sort of door anything last?
Depends what season you're talking about. Last season maybe like a weekend, maybe, and then I've actually had the same bonnet the whole of this season, so I've done better.
That's good effort.
Wow. Those are rookie numbers, man. You've got to pump up those numbers.
I think it was maybe 4 or 5 last year.
Yeah.
They just split them between 2 seasons, and it all ended up in one.
Yeah. And being in such a competitive championship such as the Mini Trophy Challenge, which in quite a lot of aspects I feel this year has overtaken JCW as the more competitive of the 2 championships. And being in such a big team such as Graves in terms of numbers, there's a lot of you out there fighting from the same team, and I've seen today the team tactics coming together. How does that help you out in terms of developing your driving? Is it good that you've got so many other drivers to kind of work with?
I think Thruxton was the best example of that. We went out with a plan,
the classic toe.
the classic toe plan, and we both all walked away with a Grace podium in every single race. The racing was different, but we had to know quality and we did it. So I wouldn't be with any other team in this paddock. I've made that abundantly clear. It's this is the place to be. But I'm not paid to advertise Grace Motorsport. Just thought I'd mention that. Quite chuffed with how they've been.
Nice car.
Yeah. Yeah, take that off the invoice. But yeah, it's a massive part. You see it up to the likes of Formula One or in TOCA, there with Napa Racing with their whole shebang that's happened in the last couple of years.
They've really invested in different aspects of the sport. They had the big day up at Anglesey a month or so ago, and they had all sorts there. Yeah. And it's only when they get it all together you kind of realise, holy cow, they're involved in a lot of series.
Yeah, what series isn't Napa involved in? It's probably the bigger question. So, but yeah, so the team aspect is important. I think, John Castle, who's joined us for this weekend, has already said sort of how we've made him feel welcome and stuff, and it's just a nice environment to be in, which is nice to hear, because you get so normalised with these lads, and so we're always on the sim taking the neck out of each other and screaming down a Discord chat, then we're probably doing something right. But yeah, the camaraderie is important, and it goes back to the point of we are here to have fun, we are here to win races and stuff, but if you can do it well with a sport, it's even better.
Absolutely, and of course there is the dreaded question coming, which is what next? We're in November now. I've asked this question to you guys before, and we've had a budget out this week that's not been so kind to smaller businesses, which means potentially that's a bit of a stumbling block to get sponsorship. So how do you guys adapt to that? And times have been tough anyway with this cost of living, right? So it's always tough to find sponsorship as it is, but is it just that little bit harder to then find it to progress? Or are you happy? Would you be happy staying with Mini Challenge and finding the same budget as you did this year? What's your kind of thinking going into it?
The next level to anything really is quite a big step up in budget. And like you say, with all the financial stuff going on with businesses, it is going to be hard for sponsors to sort of commit. I think it's going a bit back to COVID times really. That's what we had to struggle with back then. So it is going to be a challenge trying to find some people, but I think there is still some really affectionate people out there that really like to help.
That's another one that's dropped down. Let me check that.
GoPro's packed in today.
No, it's just stopped recording for some reason. Why are they doing this to me? Is that one still recording?
Yes.
Right, okay, cool. Right, let's start again.
We can edit that out.
And we're back in the room. So going into Brands this weekend, you've taken a win, James. Alex, you've been fighting with Alex for the podium positions. I think there's the Westbourne cars in there as well. There's other cars in there as well. It's been rather exciting, hasn't it?
It's great to watch. It's quite stressful doing the driving.
Very stressful.
But yeah, I mean, prior red flag, we put on a good show. After the restart, and that's what it's about, right? We've got a mega crowd here this weekend. It's sold out for tomorrow, so it's going to be absolutely mega with all the trucks honking their horns and cheering us on and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, to start off with a win, and like I say, all the Graves boys at least the top 10 pretty much. So it's always good. You want your teammates around you. Obviously, you do end up racing them, but it's better than having, let's say, a few Westbourne cars behind you that might tend to try and overtake you a bit more than your teammate will.
A bit more robustly, perhaps.
Oh, your words, not mine.
I'm neutral, mate. I'm Switzerland, so I can say what I want. I'm a commentator.
Respectfully.
Well, it's always any title decider. There will always be a little bit of niggle there because it's a competitive edge. To me, that is a natural thing that happens in motorsport. If you don't have that, it kind of takes it a bit away from the sport. And we were here last week, and Nicky Taylor took the Clio Cup GB crown. And congratulations to him, because it was a fantastic win for him, and he really did deserve it. But it was I did have a few comments. There was a few comments sort of directed to me when I was there, like, why would you cheer on a championship that's got 7 cars? Well, did you see where those 7 cars were? They weren't spaced out. They were welded to each other's front and back bumpers. It was a fantastic race.
And it's been like that every weekend for them as well.
But it's like that with Mini Challenge Trophy. Yeah. I think, you're going to be biased because you're going to put it out there. Would you say that Mini Challenge Trophy is probably one of the best one-make series in the UK at the moment?
I'd give it some, 100%,
Yeah. So it's kind of good that you guys are able to showcase that and put yourself forward. But I'll come back to the age-old question. 2025. What's your plans? What are you trying to achieve?
What are your plans?
I'm racing in a modified Ford series. Over to you, James.
It is the question we get asked every year, and as a driver, you want to tell them the answer. You want to tell them no. But I say, all of us in this room have probably many plates spinning.
Yep.
Many balls to be juggled to figure out
Giggity.
how we're gonna sort of put this jigsaw, what we call race season, together. So there's a lot of options. Like you say, Clear Cut GB looks like it's good. Is it going to take off next year? You know, do you want to stay on TOCA? Do you go up to JSW? Do you go to Porsche? You know, or do you say in where we are in the Coopers at the moment? That is almost the options, and say commercially it makes sense to stay on touring cars. You know, all my partners and I think potential partners see the benefit in ITV, and say I've been doing the stats and say it's crazy how much coverage they get for the price they pay compared to if they were to do a traditional advert on daytime ITV. So financially it makes sense, but like you say, with the whole budget coming out this week, it will sort of.
To be honest, I think with any budget, kind of any business will get a bit worried, and then after a few weeks they'll settle down, they'll work something out. So it could well be that once Autosport comes around in January, if it happens, you know, something good may come of it, guys. I mean, it's keep chipping away at it. I mean, Alex, are you ready for another year of Mini Challenge Trophy, or is there somewhere else you've got your eye on? Well, I'm asking. I'm probing. I won't stop probing. Come on, give me something.
There's a lot of aspects to it, and like you say, the puzzle's got to fit. And you can't say where you're going. If you've got it set by now, if you've got your next season set by now, you've done something very well. So it is hard to get it ready. But there is a lot of options. Again.
That's all right. That's just a GoPro, sod it.
But we're looking at a lot of different things, and to stay on TOCA package is obviously the ideal thing. All the sponsors like it, but you know, this championship's given us a lot, and there was nothing. I think when I made the move from my junior series to what I wanted to do for the next step, there was nothing that was sort of heavily attractive as there is now. Obviously, so minis was a great thing to come into, but now there's nothing. You know, there's Porsche, you got Clios or JCW really, but they're all at a different point in their life where each one's missing something. I think so. It's quite hard to make a decision. Do you go to one that may be dying or one that's going to look really good in a few years? So it is quite hard to pick, but I think just to step up into anything really at this point, make some sort of progression is the aim. Yeah,
but it's taking that leap requires a hell of a lot of capital and a bit of faith in yourself as well, I suppose, as drivers, because to take that next step, you've then got to up your game a little bit more. I guess. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you were to go full-time TOCA, it comes to the more pressure. There's, you know, the more demand on possible fitness. You know, getting yourself acclimatised to a different car, and it kind of boils down to things like sponsorship duties. Meet and greets, all those sort of talks and stuff, and say last thing you want to do after a bad race is sit in a room with 3 other nice gentlemen and try and record a podcast. But I've had quite a good race today, so ended up all right.
Thanks, James.
You know, that's all right. But you get what I mean. But it's sometimes your last thing you want to do is stand in front of a camera or sign some autographs. But you know, it could make someone's day. You could actually perk yourself up afterwards, and it could be the little kicks on you need to if you've had a bad race. I still love this. You know, let's just go again. So. It's a lot more demand. You're more in the limelight as well.
You've put something there which I think a lot of people, I don't hear it said enough. And I kind of wonder why, the fun aspect of it. You're doing the coolest thing ever. Alex, you've been a racing driver. How many you can go down? You can tell your mate, I'm a racing driver. Yeah. I mean, I don't, because I just drive a knackered old Ford around the track. But you guys are racing on one of the most professional packages, perhaps in the world. And you know, going up the ladder, but you still can call yourselves racing drivers. And bloody good ones.
There's not many people down the pub that can say that, really, is there? No. But yeah, no, it's brilliant, and like the fact is, like a lot of people, like they get so much enjoyment out of it, even if like they're just fans of the sport as well. Like just being able to like put on a show and like put a smile on their face and like make their weekend. Yeah, it's just it does mean a lot, and then obviously to be able to do it as well is really really fun.
Kicks ass.
Yeah.
I think we forget as well, we were once them fans.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think, you know, every time we see like the little kids come up and like, oh my god, your race driver is so cool, it's like we were them. I mean, albeit 5 years ago. Maybe 7 years ago for you, Rob.
I'm 33. Yeah, let's just leave that.
Moving on.
I've got a funny story about that. I'll come across
maybe add 10 years onto that number.
Yeah.
But you know, it's almost, without sounding cringy, it's almost the future of the sport. We have to inspire a generation almost.
Yeah, 100%.
And if we do that by racing 130 horsepower minis around Race Indy, we've got to do what we've got to do.
But I'll tell you what, you never stop being a fanboy, right? And I'll tell you the story now. So Thruxton was always my local circuit. Can you remember 2014 when Alain Menu came back?
Wasn't in the sport then, but yeah, go on.
You weren't in the sport, but Alain Menu came back, the BMR restart car. I was 24 years old then. Met him for the first time ever at Thruxton and had a full-blown couldn't say a word. A proper fanboy now. And the person I was with sort of leaned in and said to me, well, are you going to say something? Because as far as I'm concerned, I was in the presence of greatness. That was Alain Menu, 2-time British Touring Car Championship, when it wasn't 3 races in a day. And he drove a Renault Laguna. You know,
wow.
Proper cars. And a Ford Mondeo. Oof. He made the Mondeo a championship winner. So that to me is greatness.
Heart in your books then.
Absolutely. I mean, favourite drivers, come on. From your, who were the ones you guys looked up to?
Colin, Solley and Sidecars.
Same. But you do have to pinch yourself every now and then, 100%. You know, we are lucky to be in a paddock like this and on such a package like you say. But, you know, there's times where you do get a bit, it gets to your head where
it can grate and get you down, yeah?
Yeah, but you get annoyed by not getting a podium, but you set yourself back a couple of years and that would be like your boyhood dream to do that on a touring car package. It's like, you got to think, what am I actually doing? But, you know, you got to enjoy it at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what we do well here, which is what we said to John Castle. Hey,
shout out John.
Shout out John. Daddy Pig.
Daddy Pig.
It is just such a good environment, I think, and we all get on so well. I think it reflects in the performance as well. Everyone communicates well and it makes us faster and we just bounce off each other all the time.
Yeah.
So I think it is a great package.
Great package. Driver that you perhaps looked up to, Alex?
I've never had like a particular one, but like I know, like when I first watched Rush, I think like Niki Lauda was pretty much up there.
Yeah.
No, not that I'll probably get to F1 ever, but yeah, just very much enjoyed his story and
his story's phenomenal. I mean, the comeback, just the comeback.
Yeah, literally.
You know, from being in that fireball and then coming back and racing 4 or 5 weeks later.
I think that's the difference in the sport now, though. It's the safety level's so much higher. You know, I know it's the wrong way of saying it, but it does take a bit of enjoyment out of it. You know, you don't want to see people on fire because, you know, it's not good. But you know, there is a lot of interviews out there. I mean, I remember one of Sterling Moss saying like that was the thrill of racing. You go through a corner and you're still alive, and that is part of the enjoyment. That's taken out of it now.
Well, Jackie Stewart famously said that in his era, you had a 2 out of 3 chance of dying at a race weekend.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, you know, you guys set off on a race now, you've got a load of ambulances chasing you down behind you. That's on the first lap. And if you do have a bit of a moment, there's a lovely med centre over there, which I have personally tried out, not from a racing thing, but I have looked around in there, and it is like a little hospital.
Yeah,
it's fantastic facilities. You know, we're lucky to all benefit from that. But James, drivers you looked up to?
As a touring car fanboy,
go on in.
I always love Andrew Jordan. I think what he done rallycross wise was awesome.
Yes.
And what he's doing now with his workshop is phenomenal.
Because he had a brilliant rallycross car, I must say. Mark 1 Focus. Bit of that.
Are you on commission from Ford at all? Or?
I'd like to be.
Yeah. Get in touch. Yeah. I think he was awesome. It was a shame when he left. But my dad's been fortunate enough to work with Colin Turkington. I'd say his mentality, his attitude, and almost his driving style is always something I've admired. And 4-time champion speaks for itself, doesn't it? I think
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
yeah, he's always been a fan favourite of mine.
Yeah, I mean, you see, we were talking earlier about when I lived in Ireland. They do things a bit differently over there in terms of how they look up to their sports people, and it says a lot that when Turkington won his championships, his race car was put at the Northern Ireland Assembly in Stormont, and they were incredibly proud that someone from Northern Ireland went and won the British Touring Car Championship. And I think we kind of missed that a bit in the UK. You never, you know, if I get Formula One, it's a global sport, hundreds of millions around the world watch it, but you know, when the British Touring Car Championship out, Jake Hill's had a fantastic year this year, right?
Phenomenal.
All we see it is in the motorsport press, not the British Touring Car Championship. It's a shame in the main news, the British Touring Car Championship. It's a shame. I felt.
I think that's the problem with it, isn't it? There's not that almost nationwide knowledge of it. It's like, with the work that I do, it's I race a minute challenge. What's that? And you're just like, you're involved in cars. Surely you'd know it, but it's quite a niche sport. As soon as you mention Formula One, everyone knows it. So,
I think that's kind of the Netflix era, isn't it?
That's what
it is. I think what touring cars have done with On the Limit is phenomenal.
Yes.
And I think now I've got every driver in for this year. I'm looking forward to that coming out over the winter. Sure. Video content like this is so big now. You need to do that to etch it into the minds of everyone. And
100%.
It's it'll be interesting where it progresses and whether that can feed down to lower series. I mean, our Drive to Survive would be phenomenal. The judicial pass. This conversation, it would
honestly be better than Drive to Survive.
Yeah,
it'd be so much better.
It would. I can imagine
as a business idea.
So some of the conversations going out
note,
there. Take note. Netflix link below. Okay, slightly left field question then. If there was a documentary made about the series, who would play you, or who would you want to play you in the film?
Like actor wise,
the
prettiest one. Probably like
Tom Cruise.
bit old. I think
he's pretty old.
He's a bit old in Scientology.
Probably like a young Brad Pitt.
A young Brad Pitt.
Just turn back time a little
bit. To be fair, he's just played
Bring
that. I haven't really looked into what this Formula One film's going to be like, but apparently he's playing like a 60-odd-year-old Mexican.
Who?
Like Brad Pitt in that F1 film.
I watched the trailer. I didn't
apparently
pick up much from it.
But. Yeah, apparently he's playing a 60-odd-year-old Mexican that's making a comeback. I saw the quote that it would be the equivalent of Johnny Herbert making a comeback now, and I thought, Jesus, Johnny was a good driver, but yeah, he wouldn't.
Don't know if his foot would be up to it anymore, but
no, especially
Is this Checo Perez's future?
I don't know.
When he comes back in 2050 with AlphaTauri, V-Car, Visa, whatever it is.
Have you just called it?
Well, who
Watch
knows?
this space.
2050.
Watch this space.
Get your bets in.
James, who would play you in a film?
I think Theo James would play me quite well.
Very good. Mr. Solley?
I've always been told I look a little bit like Simon from In Between Us.
Okay.
And to be fair, I think we share the same mental capacity. I think it would work quite well, yeah. So, he could play me quite well.
Mini challenge, friend.
A little bit retarded in places.
Fantastic. I'm just going to go for Seth Rogen because he's fat and fairly funny. We'll just go with that.
2 Fs.
2 Fs, fat and funny. It's the only way to go with. Brands Hatch, your favourite circuit. What about you two?
My home.
We've always had reasonable success around here, yeah. Throxton's, I think, has got to be my favourite, but
that's my local.
My first competitive race was here in 2022, and then the first round of 2023 was here. I really enjoyed it in 2022, and in 2023 I didn't like it at all, and then came back at the end of 2023 and really enjoyed it. Yeah. So it's a bit of a love-hate relationship.
I need to sit down with you guys and have some tuition because I am shite here. I was doing 55s in that Focus.
We were doing 56s. There's no point asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got 130 horse. I've got double the power of you guys and a bit more.
Are you on slicks?
Yes.
Oh.
I'm on your old.
moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Although to be fair, I will say, Alex, I'm on your old slicks.
Yeah, cool.
I'm basically running. I'm running old mini
Yeah,
challenge.
kill them ones, sorry.
Yeah, I'm running old mini challenge trophy tyres that Graves sponsored me with. But I know
Kindly donated.
I'd take anything kindly donated. The guys have been absolutely phenomenal with that. And
To be fair, I joked with Dad about it. The amount of rubber we go through.
yeah,
And you think, like,
but
that's fine.
to a clubby like me, that is absolute gold.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's
Scrubbed in.
gold because I can't. I mean, for me to think of buying 4 new tyres for 800 quid or whatever it is, to me that's like that's way beyond my. I guess that's why I race an knackered old Ford, like I keep saying, James.
Yeah.
But it's
You mentioned that a few times.
I have. Well, it's getting a bit of a spruce up. It's getting a respray.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What colour are you going for?
We're going for white, Ford Frozen white. But you know the Focus that did the Valvoline livery end of this year?
Yes.
We're doing a play on that with chrome red and blue. So all the same shapes and stuff like that. So the bodywork was in need of a bit of tidy up because I checked the right hand side sort of sill. You know when you run your hands underneath, I'm like, oh, that feels a little bit soft. And then my finger went through it.
Oh.
My mate is really good at welding sills. He had to do that for his MOT.
Yeah. I've ordered a brand new sill for it. So if you can give me your mate's number, then yeah.
Or shout out to Charlie's, one of my sponsors. He's a very good fabbie. Send them that way.
Just drops.
Gotta do that one.
Just drops that straight.
That in there.
Just drops it straight in there. A 3-pointer from outside the area. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, guys, thank you for joining the Driving Talk podcast. I'm going to have fun editing this for the amount of stuff that we've said. If there's anything you want taken out, tough. But honestly, thank you for taking time out to have a chat with me on this Saturday night in the back of the Graves Transporter. It's great to hear how you guys are getting on during the season. I'll catch up with Sam and Dave when I see them, and it's good to see how you guys progress because obviously I spent a bit of time with you last year and I keep my fingers, toes, and everything crossed that you guys get to where you want to be on that ladder. So Porsches all JCWs next year, lads. Yeah.
All clear.
Clear.
All clear. Ooh, watch this space. Watch this space. I won't.
So expensive.